All right, back in the truck. This is the result of the haircut you just saw me doing. We have a couple of things that we have to do today. The first thing is we're gonna be replacing a sump pump. I will explain it all to you in a second, but let's get to work right now. So, since the strudel got discontinued, which I'm still sour about,
give a shot, okay?
He's gonna send a really nasty email to Tim Hortons, and he's also gonna ask them now just to make sure. Since that happened, we ended up converting to 3 chocolate Timbits instead of 1 strudel. And interestingly enough, 3 chocolate Timbits apparently are less calories than 1 single strawberry and cheese strudel.
And 2 strawberry strudels.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, go ahead, drive up there. 418.
They said yes to the 2 strawberry strudels. Did you know about this? 2 of them! We are the last 2 guys in Canada who got strudel. All right, we just got to the job site. It's quiet right now. We're inside a parking lot right now, or an underground parking area. So let me show you what exactly we're installing. So this guy right here, that beast is a submersible pump. It's not a sump pump. That's something different. It's a submersible pump. The way this building is designed is that everything that's discharged from the toilets and the washrooms goes into a pit. And inside this pit are 2 of these sorts of pumps. Now these pumps are designed to be completely submerged, so they're completely insulated in that sense. They can be completely submerged in water. But what they also do is they have a propeller that also grinds whatever it is that is in there and pumps it out at the same time. What ended up happening is we installed these a few years back. At the same time, we installed 2 of them. You have one that's the main one, then you have a backup pump. This is the backup pump. For some reason it wasn't working, and then we had to take it to a repair shop where we actually bought it. And the technician that opened up the pump found this inside of it. This is a rag. Sometimes rags get into these pumps, and more often than not will completely tangle the entire unit that spins on the inside, which will just basically take away its pumping abilities. So we had to get that repaired. Once it's repaired, now we have it back. We're gonna be installing it right now, and that's what I'm gonna show you guys. Alrighty peeps, We are finally back home. I changed into my workout gear and basically I'm gonna go downstairs and start that. But let's sit down in the studio and let's talk about what we did today. Alrighty peeps, downstairs in the basement right now, just about to start a workout, get my day in. But we had a bit of a longer day today. I ended around 6 o'clock today and we ended up coming home and just getting it here at 6:45. After this job that I showed you guys, we ended up doing a laundry tub installation, which is something I've shown you a couple of times on this channel. And then right around 3 o'clock we got an emergency call because there were a couple of hose beeps that weren't able to close inside a condominium. When things like that happen, you basically have to put everything down as servicemen and run out there and get the job done. And it's also hard to record those events because you have to move at pace to make sure that the leak, if there is a leak, doesn't get worse or can be alleviated as much as possible. So it's imperative to be really fast in those situations. So me setting up a camera and showing you what's going on is sort of the opposite of being speedy, if you know what I'm saying. But the submersible pump is something we don't always do. We've done a few in the past 3 or 4 years. I think in total we installed about 4 of them and we've repaired another 2 of them after that. Not these 2 that I showed you today, but in other buildings that we also service. So the one thing you're gonna notice is soldering with these sorts of pipes takes a little bit longer. And the reason why that is because they're so big in diameter. We were dealing with a 4-inch pipe, so you have to actually heat up different sections of the pipe to make sure the solder follows it all the way around. When you deal with 1/2-inch pipe, which is something I normally show you guys on the channel, 1/2-inch pipe is a sort of thing where if you heat up one section of the pipe, it usually means the majority of that fitting is heated up, so it's gonna usually take it all the way around. But when you deal with bigger diameters, it's actually where you put your torch that the solder will follow. So it takes a little bit longer for sure. You have to make sure you heat up the pipe really well and you got to make sure that it gets all the way through. It is not enough to just put solder on top of the pipe around the fitting. You have to guarantee that it actually goes into the fitting, and you do that by making sure that the heat is distributed around the fitting, that you have paste in the fitting, and that the solder goes into the fitting correctly. At some point I'm going to show you guys how to solder. I think it's an important topic. It's something that plumbers have to do all the time, so it's something that I think will be really useful to you guys, especially when you're just starting out. But even to this day, soldering is a little bit tricky, especially when you're dealing with different diameters. 1/2-inch is something I use all the time. It's pretty straightforward to me, but every time I jump into a 2, 3, or 4-inch pipe, it all of a sudden becomes a bit more difficult. And the difficulty with this job site was that we actually had to get into the pit, and that makes it a bit more difficult because you're not solid, you know. Usually you find a nice solid position where your feet stuck on the ground and you're soldering well, but no, we were halfway inside this pit. I'm about to go do a workout. I hope you guys have been enjoying the vlog. I hope the first person view with a GoPro is making it a bit more interesting so that you can see exactly what's going on. Let me know if it still is or if it's not. I'd love to hear your opinions, and peeps, I'll see you guys very soon. Kenny Molotov, guys. Peace, baby.